Welcome to Modern Pipeliners Podcast with Tim Bridges, energy industry interviews with real people serving us all in energy. You'll be sure to love today's guest, Wesley Hanna, the Vice President of Engineering of his region at Burnett Oil, also known for his recent album that he just released, Brand New Love Potion.
He's taking his vows of devotion with brand new love potion and this bar stool. He's been sitting high upon. He'll cry no tears into his shattered box till the time it strikes 2:00 and the sending to his empty house alone.
With that, let's welcome him and we'll get him going with some questions here. Why don't you open up by telling us a little bit about your story, your resume, and kind of how you got to today?
Yes, sir. So I went to school at Texas A&M for petroleum engineering, and started out, in college. I did some roughneck work during the summer, and then and after I graduated, I broke out as a open hole engineer, doing open hole logging for Halliburton out in the Permian, working out of Odessa, and I did that for a couple of years. And then I went to work on the operator side for a small family company called Discovery Operating in Midland, and was a field engineer for them. Did a lot of pulling unit work and sat on a lot of rigs and frac jobs, things like that. And did that for a few years, and then went to work for a company called Bopco, or the Bass family here in Fort Worth. But I was actually based out of the Midland office, and we had a big acreage position out near Carlsbad, southeast Mexico, what is known as the Delaware Basin. And worked that for about 4 years or so, and they were bought out by Exxon, and stayed on with Exxon for a little while. And then now I'm here at Burnett for the last 5 years or so.
Yeah.
And I've been in Fort Worth for about a little over 4.
Yeah, that's a great little track record there. Tell me, what kind of motivates you to do what you do?
Family, of course. I've got married, 2 kids, and so supporting them, and just that drive to be successful and support my family and be able to provide a good lifestyle for all of us. I also have a lot of expensive hobbies, like I said, music.
Yeah.
And then big deer hunter too. So that can get expensive.
Sure.
So you gotta
Yeah.
well, I guess a good way to support those hobbies.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I knew I wanted things in life, and oil and gas was a good method to get there. Especially the work that I was focused on was DOT regulated work, and so it was all maintenance and integrity. So it was kind of one of those things that it's like death and taxes almost.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we're it's been a lot of fun, and I kind of stumbled into it a little bit. I had some relatives that worked in the oil and gas industry, none really close that worked upstream, but it was always kind of fascinated me, and so I knew I wanted to do engineering when I went to school, and wasn't sure exactly what type of engineering, and I started out in petroleum, and I almost switched out to do mechanical, and because my dad was like, "Hey, you need to do mechanical," and I was like, "Well, I've already signed up to do petroleum." And my advisor at the time, he coming in freshman year, he was like, "You're taking your basic classes. If you want to switch to mechanical, that's not a big deal. But why don't you take intro to petroleum and see what you think about it?" And man, I took it, and I was hooked after that. So definitely been a fun ride, and a really cool industry to get into.
That's great. That'll be good for someone else hearing this, I'm sure. So, who were the key contributors to the man that you are today?
Well, I would say I've got a lot of you know, we got a lot of family members out there that definitely helped shape my character, and friends as well. You know, growing up in Southeast Texas, grew up around family in the Houston area, and we just spent a lot of time together, aunts, uncles, cousins, grandparents, all that, and you know, really being around all of them, and you know, learning from them, and that helped shape my character a lot, you know. So you know, and of course, my parents, you know, but also just learning, being around other family members and friends and things like that, and you know, kind of watching them and learning by their example, and so you know, just try to be a good person and a good productive part of society.
Yeah, right. Uh, let's see. What is
Right.
what's been one of your best sources of knowledge?
Really, man, I'm a real hands-on type of guy. So, you know, the best knowledge that I've obtained over the years has just been being out there and just getting my hands dirty, man, and then really being close to what we call close to the wellhead, if you will, and
Right.
kind of learning about, you know, how things work and how things react when you do different things, and um, you know, tinkering with stuff, especially on the facility side, and you know, turning valves, turning wrenches, things like that. That's been really helpful in my career, and probably the best knowledge base that I have. I mean, books are great, but until you get out there and actually mess around with it, you know, you don't really fully understand it.
Right, that field experience.
Yes, sir. Nothing beats it.
Yeah. Um, when you first started uh, in oil and gas, what was something that was more challenging than you had expected?
I think the most challenging part, you know, was being gone. I was especially early on. I was newly married and spending a lot of time out in the field, sleeping in a pickup truck, out on some location somewhere next to a drilling rig, or you know, somebody driving from job to job, and me sleeping in the back. It's about the only sleep I'd get sometimes when we were
Right.
real busy. And so, yeah, that's definitely the toughest part. I think anybody that works in the field will tell you that, you know, it's the time you got to spend away, and but you know, it's somebody's got to do it, and somebody's got to be out there doing that work. So that's the tough part of it, man.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's you think you're ready to go and but you just don't know what it is to be gone like that for extended periods and leaving the family behind and just living out of the hotel can wear on you after some months. But you get kind of used to it and after some time, hopefully you can move up, you know. Especially if you got some college experience under your belt. That helps.
That's that's right. Oh, that definitely helps on that end, you know, for sure. And you know, a lot of it for me was timing. You know, I worked with some engineers in my career that you know, came right out of school into an office job, and you know, but again, it took them a while to learn, you know, the things that I did, learning it hands on and being out there close to the action. And so
Yeah.
that really helped kind of propel my career where it is now.
Right. Right.
Made a huge difference. So, but you know, coming out when oil prices were not in a good place, it was fun finding a job, and you know, kind of had to take what you could get. And I was fortunate enough to hire on the service side with Halliburton, and that was really good experience for me.
Yeah. I had a couple of fraternity brothers go that path, and I wound up just being a labor hand starting out, but I worked my way on up, you know.
Yes, sir. That's the way to do it.
What was your worst and best project?
I would say, we'll start with the worst one, right? I mean, for me, and I can't get into too many details, but I'll be a little bit more broad, so I don't get myself in trouble here. But I mean, the ones that aren't going anywhere, at least are in kind of a
Limbo.
regulatory quagmire. There, just limbo, probably never going to happen. You're doing all this technical work and trying to get everything prepared to file permits and things like that, and then you run into a brick wall and red tape and things like that. Those are the worst ones. They just and some of them take forever, and some of them never come to fruition. But those are the worst. And like I said, I'm not gonna get into details on those. I don't want to get myself in trouble. I
I
mean,
just think it's
I would
fun to
say,
talk about because everybody's got one, and nobody wants to talk
oh
about them.
yeah, 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 yeah. Good. I think the best one, are the ones where I get to, you get to spend time with your guys out in the field and really build that rapport and you know, hopefully things go well, whether it's drilling a well and making a good well, or working on trying to fix a problem out there and working through troubleshooting the project and then getting that thing, going and started up and fired up, or working through some kinks and you get everything running like a well machine out there. That's a good feeling for everybody.
Yes.
And especially when you drive off location, knowing you feeling good about how everything's going to run the rest of the night and hopefully for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are the best ones.
Yeah. I know what you mean. And I've managed thousands and hundreds of hydro tests and big cross country pipeline projects, where they're pulling them out of service to fix them up, or new construction, and doing the maintenance on them. And so
Mm-hmm.
and I've managed some construction jobs too, some significant ones. And I know what you mean, man. If you can trust that the guys in the field have it and you can walk away and count the beans, that's a good feeling.
Yes, sir.
What
Absolutely.
is what is something about your industry that has surprised you lately?
I mean, I think the biggest thing is just, just cost of everything, and also, everybody's dealing with labor shortages, of course, across all industries. We're dealing with that quite a bit, but yeah, cost of doing business has gone up significantly over the past, I'd say, 10, 12 months.
Yeah.
You see, and especially trucking, moving anything anywhere.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, it's just it's just crazy how much everything's gone up, and it really does affect the bottom line success of those projects. And look at those things and you're like, man, I really have to think about what I'm doing here. And you have to do things that make sense, uh, and try to find ways to get around, where you're not spinning yourself into oblivion and crushing the return on a project or a new well or
Right.
something like that.
Right. Right. Yeah, and trucking with fuel going up, and then this diesel issue that we're approaching here. But I hear production's going well on the upstream side, so I'm just wondering if midstream and refining are going to be catching up with the work that you guys are doing.
Yeah, I'm not too versed on that side of the business, so I don't know really what's going on there. Can't offer any kind of insight on that, but it is a concern because diesel makes the world go round.
Yeah, yeah,
Just shipping industry, from drilling rigs. I mean, unless you're plugged into the grid somehow, which depending on if you're operating in a remote area, that's not possible. I mean, you're running a diesel rig, uh, and then you've got big trucks, if you're doing frac jobs and things like that. So yeah, it definitely would. It could create some real havoc if
yeah,
we can't get that figured out, go in the right direction.
yeah. 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 Earlier in the year, they were talking about that DEF fuel, DEF that you add in the diesel fuel. Most of the ingredients in that coming from Ukraine over there, and so that was a big issue. And now it's just diesel as a whole, I guess. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what we do with this.
Yes, sir.
um, what big projects are on the horizon, or is there uh, uh, something coming up in the industry that's big news for you?
Um, for us, as far as projects go, we've got some wells we're getting ready to drill here, and hopefully this month, and get those knocked out. I'm trying to get those knocked out before Christmas time, of course.
Yeah.
Um, but so that's exciting. Doing some exploration out here,
Very good.
and so that's gonna be keeping me busy for a little while. So
Very good.
definitely definitely fun doing the wildcat thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you yourself, you've got something cooking here, your own project. You got your album that you just released, right? You want to
Yes,
speak on
sir.
that?
October 21st. Absolutely. So yes, sir. About a few weeks back, and October 21st, put out the new record. It's a brand new love potion. Um,
Congrats.
thank you. Yeah, several songs that I've been put together over the years, since my last record, which was 2007, 2008 time frame. So it's been a while. Kind of been out of it. Obviously working in oil and gas, and finally I've had some time to devote to music, and it's been a lot of fun putting that out independently, and getting to put those songs and bring those to life. I'm really proud of the way it's turned out, and the production value of it is stellar. It's just good old country music, man. That's
Yeah.
what I like. So
Yeah.
that's what we're trying to make out here.
Well, I love your love potion song, and I need to listen to the rest of them too, but I will for sure.
Yeah, I think you'll like the last tune on there. It's very oil and gas related. So
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah,
uh,
I'll check it out for sure. Um, how has touring affected your day-to-day life in your career?
well, I've tried to be more of a local artist if I can, because touring it takes a lot out of you, and really only have time to do that on the weekends. Being a mainly an office job.
Yeah,
Uh, but it does. It takes a lot of time out of your weekend, and definitely a lot of your effort and energy. And so usually when most people are spending their time relaxing, I'm probably working harder, not, I say physically harder, hauling equipment around and setting up, and playing a show,
sure,
than, I would uh, working 8 to 5 in
sure.
the office. But so it definitely does add up. And I try to play every now and then, do a couple local gigs during the week in the evenings, and sometimes those can be some later nights, and definitely some early mornings
Yeah,
after that. It comes early, I should say.
yeah,
But it's been a lot of fun. It's been fun to get out there in front of people, and put the music out there, and just see their reaction to it. And I've got a lot of positive response so far. It's been really great. So
man.
it's definitely fulfilling on that end.
Very good.
But I'm gonna try to book some days in there to get some rest. Maybe one
Yeah,
of these days.
yeah, you got to. And in business, I'm juggling a lot of things as well, and so I've
Mm,
got like a calendar, and I just line up my whole year. And so I'll try and schedule in, hey, this is going to be a down day, or I've got this week here, and just try and get it way ahead of this stuff. And that way,
yeah.
as you're doing all this hard work that you're going to be doing, hey, I know that I've got me some vacation time kind of pegged off in there, and it really kind of helps out a little bit.
Absolutely, yeah. To try to do the same thing, playing those times out, and especially during hunting season. But
Yeah.
putting this album out in October really has has kind of put a little strain on that. It's been pretty busy.
Yeah.
Fortunately, being a bow hunter, I was able to get a little bit of time in right before it came out. So
Right.
out there in the deer stand. So that's been good. We have some trips coming up planned for if I get to take some time to relax.
Good.
But yeah, man, touring has been, it's been fun, and hopefully I, or maybe in the springtime next year, if the weather gets a little better and people usually start picking back up, maybe try to catch some dates
Yeah.
out on the road a little more. Uh,
That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
so
What
yeah.
is your favorite song that you've written and the meaning behind it?
So there's two of them on there that I would say are my personal favorite, just from the, because like you said, the meaning of them is special to me. The first one is it's the last two songs on the record, and one of them's the first one is called "Creek Don't Rise," and it's kind of about uh, where I grew up when I was a kid. We lived in a place called Sargent, Texas, down on the
Yeah.
coast. And it's close to my family has some land out in Cedar Lane, Texas,
Okay.
and so that's kind of about growing up out there. And then I ended up moving to Houston, and Magnolia is where I went to high school. But it's about that place and what that place means to me. So that's pretty special. And then the next song is the last song on the record I was mentioned earlier.
Right.
It's one I've written recently in the last year or so, and it was really kind of one of those things like I've been wanting to do, but I try not to force the issue, if you will. It's kind of how my songwriting works. I don't like to just say, "Hey, I'm going to write a song about something," and then it just and then just make some stuff up and try to force a song. Yeah, you have to let it come to me, and then once I get that idea, that hook or whatever it is, and I run with it. And so finally one day I was headed out to a rig and came up with this song. It's called "The Well Digger's Lament," and it's kind of about some of the subjects we've touched on already. Working out there on the drilling rig and being away from home. I was going to call it the Company Man Blues, but I want to come up with something that was a little cooler, a little catchier than that. So, "Well Digger's Lament" is the best thing I could do, and
I like it.
and the way it turned out, man, it really kind of has that old school, almost Hank Williams Sr. sound.
Good.
And man, that was really cool the way it turned out. And I'm just really happy with it. I mean, it's not going to be I don't think it's going to be one of the catchier hits on that album, but it's definitely one that I think will hit home with some folks, especially that work in our line of work.
Good. Good. Yeah, I'm excited. I need to hear your new stuff there. Let's
Yes,
see. Now, what was your favorite show so far and why?
Favorite show. Recently, I would have to say these last two bigger shows I say I've done. Not just me playing by myself. Uh, we did an album release show out in Granbury at a place called Bob's off the square.
Mhm.
Cool little live music spot, and did an album release show. And my wife joined me on stage. She picked up the bass again. She hadn't
Okay.
been playing bass till for about 20 years, and then she
That's
decided, man,
cool.
I kind of want to learn this. And so she picked it back up. And then one of my old guitar players that we started a band together back in college, he joined us. So we had a little trio going, and,
That's
and that was a
cool.
lot of fun, man. We got to play some all the songs off the new record, and then we get to play some covers, and really, had a great crowd out there, and it was a really great night. So
It's cool.
that
Yeah.
that was a lot of fun.
Heck yeah. Well, we're kind of coming to the end. We got a few more questions here, and some of the last ones. This one is: what is something you would like to ask the host of Modern Pipeliner?
Yes, sir. So while we're on the subject of music, I'll say, what would you say your favorite, just any genre? What's your favorite artist?
Okay. Yeah, I've thought about the question, and I've got so many, but kind of boil it down to a little handful there.
There you go.
Singer-songwriters. in the Texas space. I like the Towns Van Zandt and just like this old school country kind of sound. But I've always liked like Merle Haggard and uh, uh, also some other ones like Willie Nelson, of course.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
and then um, one I was trying to think of was Josh Abbott Band, and that's kind of a more modern one. And I really like their Texas
Yeah.
country and how they write about Texas.
Oh
Um,
yes, sir. Yeah.
but in the all the other song spaces, I really like blues a lot, and I like Muddy Waters.
Oh yeah.
And then I kind of grew up on like Frank Sinatra with my grandfather, and so
Nice.
you know. But I like all music, and Pipeline, we listen to everything, and wherever you go, you're listening to that radio station, so
Yeah.
you just appreciate all kind of music, really.
Absolutely. I named off some of the greats, man. Oh,
Yeah,
that's really cool. Yeah,
yeah,
that's what I call that's what I call timeless music. That's the kind of
yeah,
music I like.
yeah,
You can still listen to it today, and it's still really good.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
you
And
know,
and that's what I liked about some of your songs as well that I've heard you sing online. So I need to hear a little bit more about what you got going on.
yes sir, yes sir. You need to check it out. I actually had it's pretty cool. Last week I had there's a country music publication based out of, I believe it's out of Nashville. Guy that's a big country music writer. It's been quoted in national news outlets. I sent him my music a while back, just thinking that probably not gonna have time to listen to it, but he picked it up and listened to the whole record, man, and he wrote a stellar review on it. I was just blown away.
That's
And
great.
since then, man, I've seen a lot of traffic, on the streaming side, and so that's been really great.
Perfect.
And getting that exposure, and I'm really thankful for him for
Yeah.
doing that. So, I'm glad to hear that kind of feedback on it. You put something out there, and you're like, man, I hope this doesn't suck.
Yeah. Yeah. But I know what you
So
mean.
far, it's been good. Yeah, it's been good feedback.
Good, good. And then well, what big events are coming up uh and that we can help promote? Uh I know you've got your new album, but maybe tell us how we
Mhm.
can get a hold of it, or what other things that we can promote you.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. So, yeah, biggest things, just playing some shows, supporting this album, getting that out there, and trying to get around. Like I said, hopefully after the first of the year, get a little bit more out there on the road, a little more, and in front of some folks that aren't here in the Fort Worth area. But definitely, as far as music goes, you can check that out on any streaming platform, Spotify, Apple Music, or the big ones, Amazon Music as well, even
Good.
YouTube or Pandora. And I'm just naming off a few. It's anything you stream music on, it should be available. And then, for the folks that still have CD players, I think I have the last model vehicle that has a CD player in it.
Yeah.
You can buy physical CDs on my website. There's a merch tab there at wesleyhannamusic.com, and I'll package that up and ship it out to you.
Perfect.
And I've got merch there, of course, too: t-shirts, stickers, all that stuff. So that's always helpful. Or if you come to a show, I mean, that's always the preferred thing. I like to see everybody's smiling face out there in the crowd, and you know, and so that's a good time. You can buy music from me there if you'd like, or buy a shirt or something.
Perfect.
And again, just telling your friends about it, and listening to it, and if you enjoy it, spreading the word for me.
Yeah, I'm sure this audience will pick up on it as well, and you'll get some traction there too from the modern pipeliner audience. We've already got a
That'd
little
be great.
handful of people chiming in, and we hadn't really done much yet. But
That's
let's
great, man.
see. You already kind of answered it. What's the best way to get in contact? Um, all the streaming platforms, and then your website is wesleyhannamusic.com.
social media is another one you can reach out to me on. I'm usually pretty good about promoting shows on there and just putting things out as I come along. So if you're on Facebook or Instagram, it's Wesley Hanna Music. I think Twitter, it's just Wes Hanna Music, because my name is too long, couldn't have the same handle there. I think YouTube, Wesley Hanna Music. So any of those things, there's other ways to other than my website, which on my website there's an option to sign up for email lists, or even better is an app called Bands in Town. If you're on that one, that's a good thing to follow me on and get updates as when shows come out, and then big announcements also can come through there as well. So
that's perfect. Well, this concludes episode 1 of season 1 of Modern Pipeliner. We appreciate you for listening and enjoying our guest, Wesley Hanna. And we hope that you tune in for future episodes. We have some great guests coming up soon. Keep your eye on our social media pages as well as our website at thirdpartypeople.com/blogs/podcast/Modern Pipeliner.